So, picture this. You're the star student of the greatest thinker of your time, but you slowly come to realize you think he got the biggest question of all completely and fundamentally wrong. Well, that's pretty much the story of Aristotle and his teacher, Plato. It's the story of a philosophical revolution that literally remapped our understanding of reality itself.
And it all kicks off with this question. I mean, it sounds simple, right? But it is one of the deepest problems in all of philosophy. Is the chair you're sitting on right now, the screen you're looking at, is any of it truly real? Or is it maybe something else entirely? This is the exact puzzle that both Plato and Aristotle spent their entire lives trying to solve.
All right, first up, let's talk about the teacher, Plato. He looked at our world and, he saw a major problem. Everything is always changing, it's decaying, it's imperfect. So how can we have true knowledge of something that's never the same from one moment to the next? His solution was brilliant, it was a little weird, and it basically took reality somewhere else entirely. See, for Plato, the ultimate reality wasn't here with us. Nope, it was in this higher, transcendent place he called the world of forms. Think of it this way. Every single chair in our world is just an imperfect copy, a mere shadow of the one perfect, eternal form of a chair that exists on that higher plane. True reality, he said, was up there, not down here.
Okay, so now enter the student. Aristotle studied at Plato's academy for 20 years. He had huge respect for his teacher, but after all that time, he came to a radically different conclusion. He thought Plato had made a huge mistake by separating reality from the world we can actually see, touch, and study.
This quote just perfectly sums up Aristotle's whole vibe. This wasn't some bitter rivalry, It was an honest-to-goodness search for the truth. He felt he had to challenge the ideas of the man he admired most because the evidence of his own senses was pointing in a completely different direction. And this right here, this is the heart of their disagreement. On one side, you've got Plato's idea. The true form is transcendent. It's out there, somewhere else, casting a shadow that we call our world. But Aristotle's view, on the other side, is that the form is immanent. It exists inside the physical object itself. He basically dragged philosophy right back down to earth. So, this relationship between form and matter is absolutely crucial. Let's take a bronze statue. The bronze itself is the matter. But it's just a lump of bronze. It's not a statue until it's given a form, the shape, the structure, the very essence of what it's supposed to be. For Aristotle, in the real world, you never, ever find formless matter or matterless form. They're just two sides of the very same coin. Okay, so if reality is right here in front of us, how are we supposed to understand it? Well, Aristotle wasn't just a theorist. He was an intensely practical guy. He came up with this incredible toolkit for analysis, this framework of 4 questions you could ask to understand literally anything. I mean, this practical, observational approach is exactly why so many people see him as the grandfather of the scientific method. He called this toolkit the 4 causes. Let's go back to our statue. The material cause, that's the bronze it's made of. Easy. The formal cause, that's its shape, the design that was in the sculptor's mind. The efficient cause is the sculptor, the person who actually made the thing. And then the final cause, and this one is super important, is its purpose. Why does it exist? Maybe to be beautiful or to commemorate a hero. This whole framework gives you a complete 360-degree picture of a thing's reality. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when Aristotle applies this powerful framework, not just to objects, but to us? What does it actually mean to be a human being? What's our matter? What's our form? And maybe, most importantly, what's our purpose? Well, according to Aristotle, a human is this inseparable union of matter and form. Our body, that's the matter. But what gives that matter its form, its life, its structure? For Aristotle, that's the soul. Now, the soul isn't some ghost trapped in a machine. Not at all. It's the very essence and function of the body. And what is our unique function, our defining form as humans? It's our ability to reason. And that, right there, leads us to the ultimate question. If everything has a final cause, a purpose, then what is the purpose of a human life? This question is what took Aristotle from studying reality to studying ethics, and his answer has shaped Western thought for thousands of years. The final cause for all humans, Aristotle says, is something called eudaimonia. Now, this gets translated as happiness all the time, but honestly, that's kind of misleading. It's not about a fleeting feeling of pleasure.
Eudaimonia is a state of human flourishing, of living well, of fulfilling your potential and being the absolute best version of a human being you can be. That is the ultimate goal. So how do we get there? How do we achieve this flourishing? Well, Aristotle gives us a pretty clear formula. It's not about just sitting around and thinking, it's about activity. Specifically, it's about using our uniquely human function, our reason, to guide our actions toward virtue, or what you could call excellence. And this is maybe the most practical and powerful insight of all. For Aristotle, being a good person isn't about just knowing what's right. It's about doing what's right over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. Things like courage, honesty, generosity. These aren't just ideas, they're habits. They're muscles we have to build through practice to achieve eudaimonia. And so, Aristotle's revolution, which started by yanking reality back down to earth, ends by asking us the most personal question there is. By grounding philosophy in the here and now, he forces every one of us to think about our own final cause. What is the activity you are uniquely suited for? How can you use your reason to guide your life toward excellence? Aristotle's 2,400-year-old question is now yours to answer.